Welcome to Titration 101.
With Miss Wenzel and Miss Westendorf.
Hello. You need these materials. This is a burette. You need hydrochloric acid, sodium hydroxide, your base, phenolphthalein, an important part that you must not forget, an Erlenmeyer flask, and a graduated cylinder. If you're missing any of those things, go ask your teacher. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to measure out 20 milliliters of HCl. Notice how I'm getting eye level with my flask, and I am reading from the bottom of the meniscus. That's the bottom of the curvy doodad, like that, the bottom of it. So I'm lining up 20 milliliters. I am taking that and I am pouring it into my flask. And one of the most important parts that you do not want to forget, you'll be titrating forever if you don't do this, is you need 2 drops of phenolphthalein. And I'm going to send it away to Miss Brownson, or Miss Wenzel, and the burette.
Hey, so this glass tube is called a burette. The first thing to notice about a burette that's a little different than other pieces of equipment you've used in the lab is it's marked backwards. So 0's at the top, 50 is down here at the bottom, which actually makes it easier for you to read as you're doing the lab. Once you have your HCl all measured out, the next step is to take your base, NaOH, and you are going to add it to the burette using the squeezy bottle. You want to fill it up to the 0 line marking. Just like Miss Westendorf said, we're going to read from the bottom of the meniscus, so the bottom of the curve, if we ever get up to 0. Oh no, I went over 0. Now, you want it to be at 0. You have to have a marking. So what do you do if you go over 0? You take another flask, don't take the one that has HCl in it, but if you take another flask and put it underneath the burette, the way this is going to work is there's a little glass bead in here, there's kind of a bump in this rubber tubing. If you squeeze that little glass bead, the liquid will come out. Actually, hold this. Thank you, Miss Westendorf.
You're welcome,
So if you squeeze that and let out the extra NaOH, then you can get down to 0, which is where you want to start. Okay. The next step, I'm the official swirler, and Miss Wenzel is the official titration burette operator. Engineer. What she is going to do, she is going to add the base in the burette 1 milliliter at a time. When we see the first signs of pink, I'm going to communicate to my lab partner that, hey, it's starting to turn pink. Let's slow down and let's wait for it to turn a light faint pink and stay that way. So I'm swirling. Miss Wenzel is looking at the measurement. Make sure you turn the burette in such a fashion that you can see the measurement. Okay, ready, set, titrate. Here we go. Okay, so I've now added 1 milliliter, and if you look close to 1 milliliter, you have the, it's hard for me to see from this angle, but you have the 1 milliliter marking. And then if you look, the curve is a little bit below this. So I would say I probably added about 1.1 milliliters. Yes, Miss Andy, you think that is correct? So we're going to keep going. I'm going to turn this back so that I can see it and add another milliliter. And another milliliter. And another one.
You can kind of see how when she puts it in, it's a little bit pink, but it is not even close to staying. As soon as I swirl it, it goes away. All right, now we may need to slow down a little bit. Do you see how it was staying a little bit longer?
So I'm going to add just a few drops.
I think we're close.
We are getting a lot closer.
I'm gonna add just 1 drop as best I can.
Okay.
Oh,
So this is the part where you go drop by drop. If you overshoot, you have to start again, and who wants to do that?
Okay, it's gotta be.
You're at like 17.5.
I would call
Ooh.
that it.
Ooh!
I think that's pretty good. Well, 1 more drop.
Probably one more. Don't mess up.
No, that's pretty good.
That is decent titration.
Okay, so this faint pink color is what you're looking for. Now, if you added too much, what you're gonna see, and we'll show you that in a minute, so after we record our final volume, you look, let me turn this back so you can see it. I'm gonna have Miss Sandy, who is currently videotaping and looking at this, tell you what the final volume is.
Well, it's somewhere between 17 and 18, assuming I can get this in focus. And each little line on there is 0.1 milliliters. So I want to read the bottom of the meniscus. So again, I'm going to get my eyeballs down there. And it looks like the bottom of the meniscus is at the 0.5. So I'm going to say this is 17.5 milliliters of NaOH.
So if we started at 0 and we ended at 17.5 milliliters, the amount we added is going to be the difference, 17.5 minus 0. So we added 17.5 milliliters of NaOH. Now, let's say that Miss Westendorf and myself were not being very careful and we added too much. This is what you're going to see if you add too much.
There's a blinding pink.
You don't want that.
You will have to do it again if you see that.
So not this pink. It looks pretty. We don't want this pink. We want the very faint pink.